We're going to take a quick tour of the human circulatory system, and we're going to discuss the three main parts. And you may be wondering why we have a leaf in this picture. It's because at the end we're going to take a look and compare and contrast the human circulatory system with vascular plants and their vessels. Okay. The first thing to note is that the human heart really is two hearts. The heart is divided into a left side and a right side. The function of the right side is to pump blood to the lungs. The function of the left side is to pump the blood to all the cells throughout the body. The heart is also divided into four chambers, or little rooms, if you will. There's the right atrium, the left atrium, the left ventricle, and the left atrium and the left ventricle. The easy way to remember which are the atriums and which are the ventricles for me is to remember that the bottom of a heart, especially if you remember how you drew it in kindergarten, has that V shape, and so that V reminds me of ventricles. Let's just take a little tour through the heart, how the blood would travel. The blood's going to enter the heart through the vena cava, the superior and inferior vena cava, and enter in the right atrium. It's going to then pass through the tricuspid valve and into the right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, it's going to send the blood through the pulmonary valve, through the pulmonary artery, and it splits into two parts because you have two lungs. In the lungs, it's going to drop off the carbon dioxide and pick up a fresh supply of oxygen, and then return immediately to the heart through the pulmonary veins. Two on the left, two on the right, and it'll be in the left atrium. Once the blood's in the atrium, it's going to pass through the mitral valve, and when the mitral valve closes and the left ventricle contracts, it is the strongest squeeze of all the heart, because it has to pump the blood to all parts of the body, the head, the arms, and the legs. So it's forced through the aortic valve, that little one-way valve, and into the aorta, and you can see the branching that happens up here to the two arms and to the head. And then it's a little hard to see, but it then turns and goes down behind the heart to deliver blood to the stomach, the abdomen, the legs, and so on. And then it's going to return to the heart again, and that cycle will happen over and over again. Quick note is that the cardiac muscle is unique from your skeletal muscles, the muscles of your arms and legs. Those muscles can rest if they get tired. If you get fatigued running the mile, you can stop and rest those, but the heart can never really stop and rest. It's going to beat between 60 and 70 times a minute for your entire life, and it needs to maintain that without taking any significant rests. Okay, the blood vessels, really we just need to focus on the fact that they are in a loop. They're in a closed system. That's why it's a circulatory system. And the arteries are the tubes or the vessels that lead away from the heart. The veins are the big tubes that return to the heart, and the capillaries in some ways may be the most important because of the smallest pieces. As the blood leaves the heart, let's just take for example the aorta and the blood flowing up through the carotid artery into your head. It has to branch to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and those capillaries are very small. They can only hold maybe one red blood cell at a time passing through, and the important thing to note is that they have to touch the cells. The capillaries are where the deliveries are made and the pickups are made of waste and food and water and such. And then they rejoin together, and then they return back to the heart to pump again. The blood is the third part of the circulatory system. The blood is the mechanism, or the cells, the specialized tissue that is used for the transportation of food, gases, carbon dioxide, and oxygen, the water, and the waste. The blood is very, very interesting. About 55% of it is plasma, which is a sort of a clearish, yellowish liquid. The red blood cells make up about 45%, and then we have two remaining parts. We have white blood cells used to fight infection, and platelets. The platelets are what basically patch you up when your capillaries rip. You don't want that blood to leak out, so the capillaries will form a netting and basically block the tubes and form like a temporary band-aid, if you will. Picture over here shows the unique shape of red blood cells, and the white blood cells, again, that fight germs. Real quickly here, the main similarities between the vascular plants and the human circulatory system are that they're both a system of transport. They're transported through a series of tubes. The human circulatory system is a closed system, always in a big loop. Vascular plants are a couple of one-way systems that work somewhat independently. There is no pump in vascular plants. You know that trees don't have a heart, for example. There's xylem tubes, which carry water and minerals up. There's phloem tubes, which carry sugar and water to all the cells that can't make their own. And then that phloem, it basically contains a substance called sap, which is basically that sugar water. The human circulatory system does have a pump. We have arteries that lead away from the heart. We have veins that return blood to the heart, and the capillaries, which touch all the cells to make those deliveries of all the four important parts: the food, the water, the gas exchanges, and the waste removal. And human circulatory system does indeed have blood. There is no blood in vascular plants. So that's a quick review, and hope you learn it, and thank you very much.